A lot of times people are afraid that this is it, life has ended because I cannot walk, or I have only one arm, I am disabled, I can no longer do things. I want to encourage you to set your mind differently. Your life still goes on. It's not what happens to us that determines the quality of our life, determines the future, but what we do with what happens. Hello, welcome back to my channel, and this video will be for those when the tragedy strikes you. Recently I received a message all the way from India asking how to help a person who has lost his leg. I've been sharing my story about my faith part and other aspects, but I've never really shared my personal experience, how I went through when I got into the car accident. And it's a beautiful day today, and we came to the area right now, the hospital, and not far away from the emergency. And it's so interesting that 22 years has passed, and it brought me right back to the year of 2000, February, when I myself got into the car accident. This video is for anybody who experienced some tragedy in life. If you have some traumatic injury that will be life-changing for you. This video is for you, for your support. I want to share some practical aspects that will help you to go through the recovery and restore your life. And since it's not only the individual that is whose life is impacted by the tragedy, but friends, family, they also go through the change with that individual. So I will leave a separate message, separate video for the family and friends, because you have a very, very big role in providing the support to the person who has experienced the traumatic injury. At first, I will probably say that now looking back, I see that you will be going through several stages after your injury. First and foremost is medical care. It's critically important that you have a good medical care, because if your body will not recover fast, or if you have complications, infections, it will prolong your recovery. So it's very important in the beginning stages to have a good medical care, good nutrition. I was blessed by my family who were able to bring homemade food and vitamins and a variety of nutritious food that my body would receive everything that it needed for the recovery. If it's possible, have your family bring you nutritious food so your body recovers quickly. Vitamins, get a lot of sleep, rest. Probably at this stage, the medical care, mostly you will rely on medical specialists. Later on, you will have to train your body and do exercises, but let's leave that till later. Then what's important is emotional stability, your spirit. And then the third is take action to get back to life, to be as independent as you can be. And I know in the beginning it might be very scary. I personally was in a big shock when I lost my legs. If you don't know my story, just a quickly few aspects. 22 years ago, in the year of 2000, February 12th, I was involved in a tragic car accident where I lost both of my legs and my left arm was paralyzed. I was so severely injured that I was not able to do anything by myself. Basically, in ICU, I spent 17 days and I was able only to open and close my eyes. I was hooked up to a life support machine. I couldn't breathe, I couldn't speak, I was not able to move. And then After I got out of the ICU, I began learning about my injuries. Basically, my body was injured from head to toe. I lost both of my legs, ribs were broken, my left arm got paralyzed, right arm was broken, neck was severely injured, my jaw was completely smashed, severe brain injury that resulted in a memory loss. In the afternoon, I was not able to remember who visited me in the morning. To that point, it was challenging. I had to begin life basically from zero. I had to learn to sit up, to dress up, to do everything from zero. And when I returned from the hospital, that's when the reality truly hit me, because I saw how the tragedy destroyed the life that I knew before. Because Lithuania was not wheelchair accessible at the time, I lived in the city, capital of the country, and it's an old city. And our house was built in the Soviet Union, which means there was no wheelchair access at all to any buildings, any stores, especially houses where people lived. There was nothing wheelchair accessible. And we lived on the 5th floor in the building that had 9 floors. And so for me to get out of the house meant that my dad or my brother had to carry me out on their arms. We had the elevator to descend to the 1st floor, but then there were stairs. And so I was able to go out to leave my home only when dad or brother would carry me on their arms. Also, the doorways in the apartment were too narrow for the wheelchair, so I could not even leave my room. It was devastating. It was absolutely devastating. And I truly didn't know how I was going to live my life. I was only 22 years old, and I have a life ahead of me. And I was saying, Lord, how do I live now? And you know, while common mindset was the car accident destroyed your life, I refused to accept the fact that I'm disabled. And I said to myself and to others that nothing has changed. I'm not disabled. I will do whatever it takes to become independent and to live a full life. I don't want to exist. I don't want to be locked in the home. I don't want to be able to go out only a couple times a year to some camp for people with disabilities or rehab center. I want to work. I want to meet with my friends. I want to live a full life. In the beginning, it was a very scary time. I will be very real with you. I do love to inspire people, and that's what I want to do. And yet I will be very real with you that this is not going to be easy. But I want you to know that it's possible. It's possible when you set your mind to make it happen no matter what, when you're ready to fulfill your vision. A lot of times people are afraid that this is it, life has ended because I cannot walk, or I have only one arm, I am disabled, I can no longer do things. I want to encourage you to set your mind differently, that your life still goes on. Look into your beliefs. Look into your beliefs. What do you believe about life? What do you believe, what your future depends on? What do you believe, why the car accidents or why tragedies happen? And then what? The reason I'm asking that, because that will be your foundation where you will stand on. My beliefs are from the Holy Bible. Jesus Christ is my Lord. I'm a follower of Jesus Christ. My mindset, my attitude, my strength comes from the Lord, and the truth that is based on the Holy Bible. And you know, the very first thing that really empowered me, it was at my home maybe several months after the car accident, my friend visited me, and we were talking about crash and why things happen and so on. At the end of our conversation, before he left, he looked at me and said, Inga, you know, I don't really understand why things turned out the way they did in your life, and why you had to experience this car accident, why this tragedy had to happen in your life. But what I do know is that God does not allow to his children more than they can handle. The Lord will not allow bigger trial, bigger test than what you can handle. And even when he allows that, he sends help so the person can handle it. And you know, that moment when he said those words to me, something clicked in me, something happened within me. I thought, wait a minute. So if this tragedy, and it was a horrific car accident, if this tragedy was allowed in my life, that means that I can take it. I'm strong enough to take it. And with God, I will be able to overcome. And something shifted in me that moment. I thought, you know what? And I'm not going to just take it. I am going to get out of this battle with a victory. I will do whatever it takes to restore my life. And with God's help, I will be able to do it. And so that was my foundation for the future that did not allow me to give up. I was not even going to give up. I was not going to take a victim mentality. I was not going to sit around and cry and cry about the tragedy and blame somebody or complain. I was ready to take action because I saw with my faith, I saw the future. I saw that my future is going to be bright and beautiful, and I was ready to take action, to set the goals, attain those goals, and get back to life, to a full life. And kept telling to other people that I will live a beautiful life. I know that with God's help, I will restore my life. And so when my body healed from all the wounds that I had, and I had to go through like 7 surgeries or even 9, I even lost the count, and some rehab and recovery. And when I was able already physically, my first goal was to walk again, so I went to the prosthetic facility to obtain prosthetic legs, and I began strategically taking action to come back to life, to restore my life. And it's a very long story. You can find my story in other videos or my website, becomingunstoppable.org. And also I publish my book, Unstoppable, It's a Choice. I will leave the link in the area below. But I just wanted to say that 3 years later, praise the Lord, I was able to travel independently to the United States. And a year later, I moved to California. And since then, it's been already, 17 years. I live across the globe by myself, independently. Now I live with my sister friend Angelica, but for over a decade I lived by myself. I worked for 13 years at the Disability Services and Legal Center. It's an organization that advocates for people with disabilities. And I was going to work and shopping and cooking and doing the household and took care of myself independently. So sharing my story, I want to encourage you that life goes on. Yes, it might be scary, but it's not what happens to us that determines the quality of our life, determines the future, but what we do with what happens. Have your mindset that life goes on. You are able. You are only differently able. You will have to live differently. You will be able to do things that you want to do. It's just only going to be differently. And you are still loved. You are still needed by your friends, by your family, and you are a valuable person. So the most important, I want you to understand and to really know this in your heart. Your physical changes Yes, they will make your life different. It will be more challenging. But if your spirit is strong, if you feel uplifted, if you look into the future with hope, with confidence that you will restore, that you have that inner stamina to get through the challenges, to do whatever it takes to attain your goal, you will be able to achieve anything that you set your mind to. Through my experience, I have learned that all things are possible. You can achieve anything that you set your mind to if you truly, truly desire it, if you do whatever it takes to achieve your goal, and you have unshakable faith that you will succeed. Today, I hear quite a lot people telling me that they admire of how much I was able to achieve to transform my life after the car accident. And looking back, I see that I did have to come a lot of obstacles. I had to face a lot of challenges. And the reason why I was able to do it is because my spirit was strong. Because my faith in the Lord empowers. I receive my strength and my hope, that stamina, that endurance inside, I receive from my faith. And I trained my mindset to empower me. I was able to overcome everything. See, the emotional state, your mindset is critically important. I would say is the key to your success. Your results in life will depend on your actions, what you're gonna do with it. Because really, it's not what happens to us that determines the quality of our life, that determines our future, but how we look at it and what we do with everything that happens. So your results will depend directly on your actions, what you are going to do with everything that happened in your life. And then your actions will depend on your decisions. Your decisions will depend on your mindset, right? On your emotional state. So for you to have strong spirit is critically important. And I would say at this stage of your recovery, take care of that. Look at it this way. If you have a strong spirit, positive mindset, positive attitude, your body will respond to it. Your body will heal faster, and you will be able to overcome pain, physical pain. You will be able to overcome your physical challenges that you're going to meet due to your traumatic injury. If you will have crushed spirit, it will be very, very, very difficult for you to accept the new life, the new me, and the way your life is now after you are no longer able to do certain things. And on the other hand, you can be physically healthy. You can do everything that your heart desires, but if your spirit is crushed, your life will stagnate. Your life will stagnate. You will live a dull life. So many people today are depressed, even though they're physically able. They can do anything that they desire, but they're depressed. Why? Because their spirit is crushed. So take care of your spirit right now. Your body has changed, but you, who you are inside as a person, as an individual, who has values, who has desires, who has goals, who has dreams, who has a vision, who has faith, who has decision, right? Who has fortitude. You haven't changed. It's you. And when you are strong, you will be able to overcome anything in life. So for now, while medical specialists take care of your wounds, of your traumatic injuries, you take care of you, of your spirit. So you are strong to get out and open a new page of your life. Allow your family and friends to visit you. Even if you might not want to see anybody, allow them to come to you, to visit, to talk with you, laugh, dream, plan your things that you're going to do when you get out of the hospital, when you're ready to get back to life. Dream. Allow yourself to dream. Focus not on what had happened. I know it might be very tempting to constantly think about how bad it is, how painful it is, and go into the fear of how I am going to live and how hopeless my situation is. Don't go there. Please, don't go there. Instead, dream. Envision how you're going to live your life. I was envisioning in myself walking and living a full life while my jaw was still locked up. I was not able to speak. I was already envisioning my life independent, active, that I'm traveling, that I'm walking, I am back to work. I was always dreaming. Dream. Your empowered mindset will be the key to your success, to you being empowered to take action to recover. Read books that will inspire you. Watch videos. There are so many people who have gone through traumatic injuries, through tragedies, and watch them how they overcame. Watch them living full life. With tragic event, life doesn't stop. What if it's only the beginning? What if this is only the beginning of a new chapter of your life? It's not the end. It's the beginning. And a lot depends on you. So nourish yourself, nourish your spirit, and be ready for a new chapter. And about next steps, what I personally advise to do, I will share in upcoming videos. And for now, be inspired, be encouraged, and be strong. Everything is going to be well. God bless you. I will see you again.